Chapter 12, Lost Ones. Come on, kids, Nina called from downstairs. It was time to take them out for lunch and go to their old neighborhood to see if the report cards had arrived in the mail. They galloped down the stairs. Jack was playing a game on his phone. They filed out of the front door and to the van. Nina got behind the wheel and said, "So you guys living over there on Jurgensen Street?"
"Yeah, 1412 Jurgensen Street."
Nina pulled off, and it took over 45 minutes to get back to the old neighborhood. Devonna's heart sank. She never wanted to see that place again, especially after having gotten a taste of a better life. Things just were not the same anymore. They all got out of the car and headed through the courtyard to the apartment building. Devonna heard her name being called. She turned around. Her classmate, Serena Miller, was headed in their direction. They hugged.
"Girl, where you been? I ain't seen y'all all weekend."
The other girl asked.
"Oh, we're visiting a relative. Did you get your report card?" "Yeah, I got mine on Friday."
Devonna knew they had to have delivered hers too.
"I'm going to the 7th grade,"
Serena squealed. The group headed into the apartment building. Devonna used her key to unlock the mailbox, and lots of mail spilled out. There was overdue bill after overdue bill until she finally found the report cards of all of the children except Shelley. Jack hurried to rip his open.
"Yes! I passed! I'm in the 6th grade! I'm going to middle school!"
He shouted. "Aren't you only 10?
"Yes, Miss Nina, but I was born in July. I'll be 11 before school starts."
Devonna saw she'd passed to the 7th grade. She smiled. She held the bundle of mail in her arms, but Nina offered to put all the mail in her bag. "Is there anything you kids need from your apartment while we here?" Nina asked.
"Yeah, I'm going to go get my time capsule book,"
Jack said. They headed upstairs, and that's when Devonna saw the eviction notice on the door. She snatched it off. People did not need to know their business. She would do anything to save her mother's dignity. They entered the apartment. The place was stuffy with a stale smell from the lack of air conditioning. Devonna realized her mother never made it home, and that worried her. "I think you guys better get all you can. Anything that means something to you." Nina realized that once they executed the eviction, they would lose everything. Devonna grabbed a trash bag and shoved all of the stuff they needed into it. Some of those things were hers, and some were her siblings. She even took a few of her mom's clothes that was worth salvaging. They did not have much, so there was not a lot to carry. They headed back to the van, and Nina got behind the wheel and pulled out and hit the highway. "All of you kids did well in school. This calls for cake."
Yay!
Nina took them out for lunch and picked up a cake from Hubbard's, an upscale grocery store. They headed home. To their dismay, Saxton had made it home. Nina placed a cake on the kitchen table while the children took their belongings upstairs.
"What is the cake for?"
"All the kids passed their grades. We are celebrating. Want to join?"
"Yeah, I guess."
"Yeah, it's going to be fun, Saxton." Nina got paper plates from the pantry and spread them out on the table. The children joined them in the kitchen.
"You gonna join us?"
Jack said once he noticed Saxton was not leaving the kitchen.
"Yes, and congratulations on passing your grades. Education is important."
Jack smiled. Any acceptance from his big brother made him happy. Nina found some ice cream in the deep freezer and brought it out, giving the children a scoop and a slice of cake.
"I want 2 scoops." Don't be greedy.
Chalet said, making all the rest of the children laugh.
If you don't stop, I'm going to eat your cake too. I'm going to
No,
eat your
you
cake.
won't. No, you
Oh,
won't.
yes, I will. Oh,
no,
yes, I
you
will.
won't. No, you
Oh,
won't.
yes, I will. And then I'm going to bite off your
He
toes.
clawed his hands like a monster and started after her. She screamed, running towards the sunroom as he went after her.
Come here while I eat your toes. Come here, little
He
girl.
lifted her, swung her around, pulled off her shoes. She kept screaming. Keena entered the room, coming to her sister's rescue.
Off my sister, you monster!
Soon, Jack joined and they wrestled their brother to the floor. He had no wins with the three of them on him. Finally, they returned to the kitchen. By then, Devonna and Nina had finished their ice cream. Sound like you had fun, Saxton. But I've got to be going, Nina said as she stood, placing her paper plate into the trash.
Oh, Nina, you forgot to take us to the beauty supply store. I gotta wash my little sister's hair.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Dev. I am so sorry. Maybe tomorrow, or if their hair needs to be done, Saxton can take you now. He turned around.
What? I got some work to finish up.
Oh, the beauty supply store is just 20 minutes away. I'm sure you won't take long. Nina gave him a pat on the chest and smiled. See you soon. See you, kid. She walked out to her car. Saxton watched her leave. He turned back to the kitchen. The three girls were looking at him, waiting. He sighed.
Okay. Let's go.
He grabbed his keys. He led them to the garage and they piled into the Mercedes SUV.
Are you ever gonna take me for a spin in your Ferrari?
Jack asked.
One day, maybe.
Jack decided he wanted to sit up front with Saxton, and his brother made no objections this time. The garage door raised and he pulled out. The gate closed behind them. Devonna couldn't get over how fancy that house was. They headed down the highway and to the beauty supply store.
So, are you just gonna sit out here?
Devonna asked.
Yeah, I can wait. You guys should be okay in there.
But Chalet was not having it.
Go with us.
She demanded.
Who are you talking to, little girl? I done already bit your toes off.
He said calmly without taking his eyes from his phone.
You, and my name ain't little girl. Ooh, I guess she told you.
Keena said, rolling her neck in a sassy manner.
I think he's afraid of getting out the car in the hood.
Jack challenged. Finally, Saxton looked up.
Whoa, what? That's ridiculous.
Oh, you afraid someone's gonna steal your bins?
Devonna laughed and high-fived her brother.
None of what you guys are saying makes any sense.
Oh yeah? Then prove it.
Jack said. Saxton removed the key from the ignition, hopped out of the car, and headed towards the store.
Are y'all happy now?
Chalet grabbed his hand and led him to the store, talking a mile a minute. Saxton did not know which way to go, so he followed Devonna down the aisle where the shampoo and conditioner was. He happened to turn around and noticed an Asian woman a few feet away. She was staring at them. He turned back to the children, but quickly turned back to her, wondering why she was watching them. He had more money than she could ever dream of, and there was nothing in that store that was worth stealing.
We're gonna need some oil and moisturizer too,
Devonna said as they headed to the next aisle. He followed them, and it wasn't long before he realized the store owner was still following him. Instead of ignoring her, he turned around to her and said,
Now, if you keep following me, I'm going to demand that you give us something for free. Is that a deal?
I don't want trouble.
The woman said.
I'm not here to make trouble. Is that how you treat people who spend their money in here?
An Asian man who stood about 5'6" came out of nowhere.
What's problem here? Why don't you ask her? She's the one following us around. If you want something, then come to counter and pay for it. Ha ha ha.
Saxton laughed out loud.
I had all intentions of doing so, but you know what? I have changed my mind.
He turned to his sisters.
Devonna, put that stuff back. We'll go somewhere else. I refuse to spend my money in a place where our kind is not welcome.
But Saxton,
Do what I say. Put it back. There are other places to buy hair supplies.
Devonna placed it all on a nearby shelf, and he led the children outside to the car.
Why didn't you want to buy the stuff?
Jack asked. Saxton looked over at his younger brother.
Let me tell you something, brother. Don't ever allow someone to destroy your dignity. Those people were treating us like a stereotype. There's no way they should get your money.
Oh, yeah, I get it,
Jack said, looking back at his phone in his hand. Another beat passed before he said,
You called me brother.
Saxton frowned. He looked at Jack and did a double take.
What?
You called me brother.
So what? I call everyone brother.
Well, am I?
Are you what?
Your brother. Well?
Well, what? I told you I call everyone that, except women and white people.
Devonna burst out laughing.
You're not as tough as you put on, you know.
Jack said,
Where did you get that phone?
Don't try to change the subject, Saxton.
Answer my question, young man. Where did the phone come from? You didn't have phones when you got here.
Somebody got them for us, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, so you think you're smart?
I am smart, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I can prove it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, meet me out back when we get home. A game of one-on-one. Me and you.
You're actually challenging me to a one-on-one.
Yeah, and I'm gonna beat the sweat out you.
Okay, fine. I'll take you up on that. Oh, man. All right, it's your ball. All right.
Okay. 3-up me.
Man,
Here we
stop
go,
talking and
3-pointer.
just D up. All right, stop talking. You talk too much.
Woo! Told you ain't have. Told
Man, just
you
quit
wasn't
talking.
as
Just
tough
quit,
as you said
quit talking
you was.
trash. All right.
Jack ended up giving his brother a run for his money. Saxton didn't know his younger brother had so many skills on the court.
I see you a little rusty.
Jack said, holding the ball. The younger brother stood only 5'6", 5 inches shorter than Saxton. Saxton was getting a little hot that his younger brother was beating him. Jack tossed him the ball.
Ooh, your ball. Not that it makes any difference.
Check. I said check, little man, check.
Jack ended up winning 10-8. He laughed at his older brother.
You called me on the wrong day. I haven't had my late cup of coffee.
You know, if you need coffee just to D up on the court, you're more pitiful than I once thought.
Saxton patted him on the head.
You think you all that, don't you? Wait until I return from my trip.
Those words were hopeful. That meant he expected them to still be around once he returned. Devonna had just finished washing and conditioning the little girl's hair when the brothers returned inside. She stood over Keena, plaiting her long, thick hair in 4 parts. Who won? She asked the minute they joined her in the kitchen.
I did.
Jack boasted. Saxton headed to the coffee maker and started a fresh pot.
Only because I let him win.
Dude, you funny. You was sweating, huffing, puffing. His joints was in pain the whole 9.
Saxton couldn't help but to laugh. But something came over him, the feeling of a connection, the physical contact he had with them, such as the hugs, the wrestling, the verbal back and forth. They were beginning to act like brothers and sisters. He began realizing this might not be so bad after all, if only he had a woman to support him.